Dear friends, on the screen you are seeing the birth horoscope chart of a person about whom I discussed in my last video. This is the first page of his horoscope as to how I make it. So here you will see the main birth chart, ascendant chart, that is the Rashi chart, starting with the Virgo ascendant where Ketu is placed, then followed by all other signs and planets, and on this screen is the mahadasha chart of the same person. Now I go on the second page where a complete detail about his mahadashas are indicated. At present, he's going through Ketu's Mercury's mahadasha, which is going to end by December 8, 2017. And then after that, Ketu mahadasha is going to start. So my prime aim today is to discuss what is going to happen in this person's life when the Ketu mahadasha starts. This is the second page where all the planets have been shown, their mahadasha and the nakshatra phases and nakshatra lords, how they were posited at the birth time. After this, the third page which I'm going to bring in front of you, that has Moon Rashi chart here, followed by Sun Rashi chart, followed by D10, the Samsa chart, that is here. The next page, the page number 4 that I make that is the D Hura chart, D2, followed by D30, Trimsamsa chart, basically which I stress maximum to see the misfortune. And the most important birth chart which I see is the D60 Shashtiamsa chart. So these are the charts which I have made for him. This is page number 4. Now followed by this, the page number 5. Page number 5, I have all the Ashtakvarga details for all the planets in different rashis, followed by the total list showing the complete Ashtakvarga bindus in each sign, starting from Aries till Pisces, which we call as Sarvashtakvarga chart. So you see Aries has 20 bindus, followed by Taurus 24, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and finally 23 in the Pisces. Here, this is what I make. Followed by the next page is the 6th page where I see the transit movement, the Gochar movement, what is the present planetary situation, which I had taken on May 17, 2015, and how I'd elaborate, he was going through Mercury Mahadasha, and at present also is under Mercury Mahadasha. You can see here, we started on December 8, 2000, and it's going to end on December 8, 2017. And here are the details of all the Antardashas here. After that, the next most important chart which I carry on, that has the detail of all the various divisional charts. This is very, very important. Here I consider all the divisional charts and see how the planets are posited over there. The number marked with the red ink, that shows the sign in which this planet was posited. And finally, when I conclude with this, then I see the ultimate strength of the planet. So here I see the maximum. I have seen that Moon has been in 6 charts in a particular Rashi, in Cancer Rashi itself. So I consider this way that Moon is the strongest planet in his birth chart. You can see all the divisional charts, and I've seen, how all these planets and how they have been summed up here. So this is the detail. Based on all these, I'm going to elaborate how the Ketu mahadasha of this particular person would appear. So I just come back to the main birth chart again, so that we will be able to emphasize More on this, you have seen this before also, and you see all the Ashtakvarga bindus here. Here again, this is the Namosa chart here. So continuing with the last video, now we are looking the same page, the birth chart of this person. And I'm going to discuss about the Ketu, mahadasha, what kind of impact it's going to create in his life when it's going to start in 2017. Now looking here in the chart, this is Virgo ascendant where Ketu is posited in the ascendant house. Ketu is being directly aspected by exalted Venus, Jupiter from its own Pisces sign, and of course Rahu. The ascendant lord, Mercury, it is posited in the 8th house. And when we look into the Navasa chart, there we see the position of Mercury is much stronger. Here it is in its exaltation position in Virgo Rashi itself. But since we are discussing about Ketu only, so we see that Ketu is in debilitated situation in Navasa chart, being in Taurus Rashi. At birth time, Ketu was posited in Hasta Nakshatra's second phase. Most of the planets in this phase of Hasta Nakshatra, they give very downward, down to earth kind of personality. The person gets interested towards occult science. He starts learning something beyond this universe. Basically, he becomes more spiritual. But what I expect during Ketu's Dasha, Mahadasha time, since it is debilitated here in Navasa chart, now we look at the most important birth chart, the D60 Shashtiyamsha chart, where we see the position of Ketu. Ketu is here in the 6th house, and again it is debilitated. So with this, I conclude one thing about this person, that during the Mahadasha phase of Ketu, though he will try to get attached to the religious and spiritual line, but he will not be successful. When I made his horoscope earlier and I discussed with him, I found that he is doing a kind of religious work, and he visits few temples and churches, but he is not fully occupied in this. Although he's trying that he should go in this line, but still he has a wavering mind. So when the Mahadasha of Ketu starts, since his ascendant house is very strong, so with this Ketu has got some kind of force in it, because it is in the Virgo Rashi, and which is a movable sign. So his mind is dwindling between left and right. So immediately when Ketu Mahadasha starts, and Antardasha of Ketu is also there, he will start thinking, he will start changing. He will start thinking to change his present professional line. Maybe most likely he may not be doing good over there, because this person is not very specific what he wants to do in life. Again, if you can look at, you will look at his about his courage. In the 3rd house, you will see Saturn is posited over there in its staunch enemy Rashi of Scorpio. And this house is being aspected by its Lord Mars. So there's a conflict in his personality, in his courage. Mars gives him sometimes boost to do something very, very quickly. But again, his esteem dies out because of Saturn. Saturn is an old planet, so again, it retards his energy. So what happens with this? This particular person is not able to continue his efforts, and ultimately he is not able to get his desired results. Now we look at which particular planet is going to help him greatly in his Antardasha period. If we look at his birth chart, we will observe that Ketu is being directly aspected by Venus, which is very, very strong because it is in its exaltation situation. And Jupiter, of course, because it is its own Rashi. So when Antardasha of Venus and Jupiter are going to come in Ketu's mahadasha, he's going to get boost. There he can have good support from basically from outsiders, basically because the seventh house is just opposite to the Lagan house. So seventh house represents people which are not from his family, not his own. That can be his spouse, his business partners, and some kind of ventures which are involved with overseas countries. This is what he's going to get. But again, if we look at the chart, the Namvasa chart, there we see that Ketu is posited in the house of profession, where it is debilitated. So ultimately, the kind of luck which he has brought, he will not be able to succeed in any venture. This is very, very important for him to understand that he should not deviate his line of profession, whatever he is doing at present. Because in Ketu's Mahadasha, he is going to be in a very dwindling situation. Moreover, when we look at the D60 chart, there we see that Ketu is again debilitated and it doesn't have any support from both the planets which were shown in the birth chart to give him great support. Because in the D60 chart, Venus has got debilitated and Jupiter also is not of any use because Jupiter is again in its enemy Rashi. So the things which we were considering, looking at the birth chart, that he will be having good time during the Mahadasha of Ketus, of course, and Antardasha of Venus and Jupiter. When we look at D60 chart, we find that it is not so. Now, finally, we look at what is going to happen with him. Where is the misfortune indicated, so that he can improve his handicaps and take required action. Here we look at and we see here that Rahu and Ketu both are in the fifth house and Pisces Rashi. Pisces Rashi is very, very secretive, and fifth house is also the house of emotions. So here we see in the fifth house position of Ketu and Rahu. This is again going to give him very dwindling mental situation. One way during the Ketu's Mahadasha, he would try to do something very harmonious because fifth house is connected with soul. But presence of Rahu along over there is going to interfere in his endeavors. So ultimately, he will not be able to take the benefit in the religious line which he's trying to do. Now we look at again here in the ascendant. Whenever ascendant has its own Lord posited over there in D30 chart, that means the person is going to have bad luck from his own actions. If you just look at the ascendant in D30 Trimsamsa chart, you again find two planets, Mars and Saturn, posited over there. And if you just look at the birth chart, you will see that Mars and Saturn have direct aspect in the birth chart also. So ultimately, there is a misfortune in this person's life because whatever he will try to do, he will be retarded back. In such situation, the only alternate which I am going to suggest this person is to do job with a good organization and continue over there. He should not look for changes in Ketu's Mahadasha period because there is nothing good seen over there. There is no planet which is giving it support. And secondly, since he has inherited misfortune, though he belongs to a very good family by birth, but as he is growing up, he is seeing misfortune, and which I anticipate is going to continue till Mahadasha of Ketu is also there in his life. So after this, I have seen so many other things. Like I've seen the Ashtakvarga Bindus and Ketu's transit also. And I do not see there is any kind of relief in his life. So, to be very honest about this person, which I'm going to be with him also, I don't anticipate there is going to be anything good in his life in coming 7 years time of Ketu's mahadasha. Regarding any kind of remedies, I'm strictly against any remedies because remedies are only the karma. If we start doing good karma, we'll be happy. But if somebody thinks that we can do any kind of donation or any kind of feeding to animals or birds or something, which is normally suggested in India, I'm strictly against that because it is the result of our karmas only, and astrology is strictly based on the karmas theories only. So, my friends, this is how I elaborated in brief about this person. More details I'm going to send to this person through the email. Thank you so much for watching my views. If you have any kind of feedback, you can please leave it on this video. Thanks a lot. This is Aditya Sharma. You can see me at my website www.manhattanastrologist.com. God bless.